Hi, this is a YouTube channel intended for the people that are hungry to connect with food. Meaning to connect with the resources or the people that want to give food to the people that are hungry. Uh, it's a draft. Of, the draft sort of takes off at foreveryonehappy.com. So you can check that website or come back here or start here and go to the website. Like I said, it's a draft. Maybe somebody will take over this channel in the future, or we'll put a pretty girl up here instead of my face. But in this draft, there's a well. First of all, let me say, right now, okay. Let me put it this way. In this draft, here's what I suggest. For simplicity, if you are hungry, if you need food, start your comment or title your video response with the word hungry. If you're somebody that that has food, money, or resources to give for those who are hungry, you can type these words at the beginning of your video response or at the beginning of your text comment. Resources for the hungry, or just resources. That'd probably be easier. Otherwise yeah. But the key word would be hungry. The other key word would be resources. Now, obviously, if you're in abject poverty somewhere, you probably and you don't have enough to eat. You can't necessarily get yourself to a computer. So, if you are a good Samaritan, whether an individual or an international agency or anything in between, what I suggest is that your keyword in all caps or not all caps, your keyword for the beginning of your video or text response should be agent. That way, if somebody is looking down the comments, whether it's the video responses or the text responses, they'll have these three keywords: hungry, resources, agent. As I said, this is a draft. I will say that right now, we have 7 billion people on the planet. I wish that whether you're in poverty or you're super rich, that we would stop reproducing and bringing children forth until we got our shit together. Because that could apply for dysfunctional rich families as far as families in abject poverty. But right now, I'm going to focus on this. We have 7 billion people that are hungry in the world. Excuse me, we have 7 billion people in the world. A little bit less than a billion. Let's round it off to a billion people that are hungry. Personally, I'd like to live in a world where everyone has enough to eat. Personally, I'd love to live in a world in which everyone is happy. Hence, foreveryonehappy.com. But the cost of the food for 1 billion people that are hungry is 1% of the world's wealth. More exactly, more specifically, if you measure the world's wealth in terms of gross domestic product, which, by the way, I think ultimately it has nothing to do with percentages, or not so much to do with percentages as and how you measure wealth, as it has to do with the human decision, an individual and or a collective decision to act or not to act, to choose or not to choose. Do we want everyone to have enough to eat, or do we not want everyone to have enough to eat? But currently, the world's wealth measured in terms of world's GDP, the estimates vary between 70,000 billion a year and 80,000 billion a year. If you take the conservative estimate and say that the world's GDP is 70,000 billion a year, what that means is that 1% of that would mean that 1 billion people every year could have $700 worth of food. And with $700 a year, you could eat. Now, obviously, in the ideal world, nobody needs anything from anybody, and we will evolve into independence and people being responsible for their own happiness and their own well-being. But right now, there's almost 1 billion people starving, and we have the resources to see to it that everyone has enough to eat. Whether or not we have the will to do that, that's part of the reason this website and this YouTube channel is here. The other thing that I'm going to add is that unfortunately, at the time that I'm making this recording, YouTube does not allow for you to post links within your text comments. What I recommend, I personally disagree with that. I understand there's reasons why, but what I recommend is that you do this. If you want to post a link to make it visible, use hashtag or £, then all caps the word link, then type your link very carefully, very precisely, but do not put the dot and the com or the dot and the net or the dot and the org or whatever next to it, because then right now YouTube is not going to let you post it. So what you would do is type hashtag or £, the word link in all caps, then type your link, your URL very exactly, and then without the .com or .net, and then in parentheses next to it, write out .com or .net or whatever it is that we would need to type to get to your link. Here's hoping everyone has enough to eat. And of course, here's hoping everyone's happy. Like I said, it's a draft. Thank you. I forgot to say, below the video, if you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a share function, so you can share on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc., etc. So that's what the internet's about. If you want other people to know about this,